Hi, I'm Margarita McManus. I have been quilting for about 15 years and I was a professional quilter for a long time and I wrote a quilt book. And I have a couple of websites and that leads me to get a lot of emails, which I love getting emails. And I got a question from Chanel and I want to answer it. And I hope that it helps some beginner quilters because that's what Chanel is. She asked me first how to just get started. And one of the things that I recommend to every beginner is this quilt book. It is called Your Very First Quilt Book, or it should be, and it's by a lady named Carol Doak. I really like the way this book is organized, and it's got some really great reviews on Amazon, so check it out. Now, I buy mine on eBay, so if you're on a tight budget, you can look at used bookstores, if you're online, places like eBay or Amazon that have secondhand copies. This is a wonderful resource to have for someone who's brand new to quilting. Another good resource is a good mentor. There's probably classes in your town at places like Sew and Vac shops, quilt stores. A lot of times they will run beginning sewing classes, and you really want to look for something that's very beginner if you've never used a sewing machine before. If you don't have a sewing machine and like Chanel, you're on a very tight budget, I pick these old beauties up on Craigslist all the time. Sometimes I'll pay $25, $50, $75 for these old gems. They're absolutely wonderful. They're metal. They can be worked on and adjusted, again, by that same Sew and Vac store in your town. And if you find one in a cabinet, it's probably going to be brand new because I've got a whole nother video about how awful those cabinets are. If you buy one in a cabinet, take it out and watch that video that I have on ergonomics. Make sure if you do buy a secondhand machine, and ask relatives. A lot of times people will have machines. You can find them at garage sales. I have an Instructable. There's a site called Instructables.com, and I have an Instructable written just about these old machines. But be sure and get the owner's manual because the parts are very specific and very different from machine to machine. The feet, the bobbins, everything. And absolutely make sure you get the foot pedal and electric cord, and a lot of times they're connected. It's just all one bundle of wires. You may even get some of these great trays of accessory bits, and there's great books out there on learning how to use the separate feet. If you really want to get into sewing, then that's the time to step up and buy a little bit more expensive machine once you've really gotten used to it and you know that you're going to keep with it for a while. In your town, you might have a quilting guild. Go there. Say hi, say I'm new, ask for someone to help you. You will find someone who's willing to show you the ropes and get you started. The last thing that Chanel asked me, she wants to make her own quilt design. So I think, yes, I love that. So here's what I do. I have these notebooks, and I have a couple of them usually with me all the time. I just love these things because I make my notes in them all the time. I'll make drawings. There's little pockets in there so that if I scribble on some scrap paper somewhere, I make sure that that scrap gets into my notebook, and that's how I make sure I keep track of the quilts I'm working on and actually finish some of the great ideas I think I come up with. I sure hope this helps. Quilters, if there's anything I can do to help you with your quilting, please drop me an email and let me know. I'd be so happy to help you. I'm Margarita McManus. Thank you so much for watching.